Welcome back, Drinkstuff fans. I am Steve the Barman. In today's video, this is the third of a little, starting off as a three-part series about the things that I think you need to set up your home bars. In the first video, we covered bartending tools and upgrading to better bartending tools. In the second video, I talked about the glasses that I think you need, the essentials, and then taking you to where you could kind of upgrade to again. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the syrups and the purees that I think you need to start off your home bar. Now, this is coveted by the fact that it all depends on what cocktails you like and what you want to make to what you should stock. Now, I'm not going to talk about booze on this channel. I'll save that for my own channel. But for this, I'm focusing on the stuff that Drinkstuff sells. Now, for me, I always take the opinion. There's no point when I was younger, I bought this, and I just set up my home bar. I bought lots and lots of different booze, lots of different syrups and ingredients, and they just sat there for years effectively because I didn't really use them in cocktails that I like using them. So my advice, first and foremost, is look at the types of cocktails that you want to make. And then potentially that's when you kind of invest in the syrups, in the purees that you kind of think you want to buy to kind of make those drinks. There's no point in buying, say, a papaya puree, which I've done in a recent video, if you're not really going to use it, if it's going to sit there for months and months without being used. So I'm going to talk you through what I think the bare basics are and what I personally, bearing in mind that I make a whole cross section of different cocktails, what I personally would kind of recommend as a starting out point. So as the first place to go, I've got them all in a little bag down here. The first place to go, I think you kind of need, and I've talked about these in a previous video. These are, to me, are a godsend. It's just lemon and lime juice. I'm not going to give you too much detail about them. ODK, literally 99.999% juice. They just use an antioxidant in them to keep them a long life, shelf stable once open. So these are actually mine that I brought from home August 2021 before opened. Once opened, they will keep for at least 30 days. A damn sight cheaper than buying a fresh buying fresh limes or lemons or things like that. The only difference I would add, if you're going to make a cocktail there and then, and I always say this, I won't lie to you, if you're going to make a cocktail there and then, always try and use fresh. However, if you're squeezing lime juice and lemon juice for use in a couple of hours time, the citrus oxidizes very, very quickly, and I promise you, you won't taste the difference. Even then, there is negligible difference in taste, in my own opinion, to this stuff and fresh, very negligible. So I always recommend, for the price of, it's about £6-7 a bottle, get yourself some of these and just keep them in there because they are perfect. Do not buy Jif lime juice or lemon juice from a supermarket or supermarket own brand equivalent. It is completely different stuff. There are so many additives and other random citric acids in there, and that they are not lemon juice or lime juice. Fine-ish for your pancakes, definitely not for your daiquiris or anything like that. So that's the first product I think you need. Right then, the second product I think you need, just not thinking about it, you 100% need this, is your sugar syrup or gum, whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm actually showing you two here because you can, believe it or not, get obviously sugar-free versions of your sugar syrups. Not every brand does it. Again, I've just picked up Monin. Regulars of my videos will know that I use ODK a lot as well. Sugar syrup, there's no really massive difference. I do prefer to buy it as opposed to the faff of making it. However, making it is so easy. Literally equal amounts of granulated or caster sugar, just boiled down with, I would say, bottled water. Bottled water will keep a lot longer than tap water unless you filter it. But again, it will keep in your fridge for a month easily, probably longer. But for the sake of a couple of quid, I always buy it. It's just so much easier, and then I've got bottles to store it in. But the sugar-free version is there. Lots of people now don't want sugar in their cocktails, but cocktails still do need that bit of sweetness from time to time. So I highly recommend looking at that. Monin do a sugar-free, and as I say, a few other brands do now as well. Monin have gone the extra step though. Monin have got quite a lot of other flavours in sugar-free now as well. Now for me is where you go into the flavours. This is next. And again, this is very much on your own personal thing. I've just brought in the flavours that I use a lot of, and I mean at least treble the amount of these flavours to everything else. So the first one I'm going to go for is an obvious one for you guys, vanilla syrup, and I probably use treble the amount of vanilla syrup to anything else purely for porn star martinis, but it's brilliant for rum punches, brilliant for daiquiris, brilliant if you want to make mocktails and things like that, non-alcoholic mojitos, like a pineapple and vanilla mojito, things like pineapple juice instead of rum. It just works well. So I always go through a lot of vanilla sugar. So I think that is a staple ingredient that you need. And me, because I like my rum as well, these next two sort of syrups are definitely rum based. And I think that's where kind of I finish on the fact that the sugar syrups are needed. So the first one, honey. I actually use a hell of a lot of honey syrup in my cocktails, and you can easily make that yourself at home. It's just, I laugh and joke, it's just extra runny honey. It's just honey, dissolved down into more water to make it even more runny. But for rum drinks, rum punches, and even sort of gin and vodka to a certain extent as well, I do use a lot of honey syrup. It's a bit of an obscure one, many people wouldn't, but I personally do. But the one big one that I definitely can't do without, and I'm going to say it properly, if you watch my channel this will be hilarious, but Orgeat. It's French. I always say Orgeat on my channel, Cornish chav, but Orgeat is essentially an almond syrup with hints of orange flower water, orange blossom water, and vanilla in there. A typical kind of rum drink, but it does get used a lot in cognac, starting to get used a lot in vodka, and I've actually seen it used a bit in gin drinks these days, but I could not do without. That is probably if we took porn star martinis out of the equation, that is probably my most used syrup behind the bar. And bearing in mind, syrups are up to £7-8 a bottle, then you know, nothing kind of, and they'll keep their long life, so it's not going to break the bank if you do invest in others. But then apart from that, apart from actual sugar syrups, it's very much on your own personal palate. Whatever cocktails you want to make, there are thousands of different cocktails out there. There are possibly thousands of even different flavoured sugar syrups out there. If you go through the brands from ODK, from Monin to Giffard to William Fox, that I do a lot of work with. William Fox have kind of got their whole crazy kind of flavours out there as well. So have a look on the Drinkstuff website for sugar syrups, everything from like cinnamon, hazelnut, what else? I'm just trying to think the ones I've got to know. Cinnamon, hazelnut, grenadine. Grenadine's an interesting one. I actually don't use too much grenadine unless I want to make a drink red. And even then I would only use like 5, maybe 10 ml of grenadine in a cocktail. I typically do not use much grenadine at home. Ginger is another big one I use. Clove, cinnamon, if I've not mentioned that before. And then we just go into the really random ones like chocolate. I've got pear syrup, I've got strawberry syrups, I've got raspberry syrups, but I kind of want to leave them to one side because what I'm going to get onto now is the kind of purees. Now again, by the power of editing, there is one product that I was going to mention I completely forgot about, so I'm going to put this in before the purees. So if it looks a bit different, that's why. I think in this day and age, you kind of do need to invest in something like this. Again, I've done a different video about this. This is still a bunt from ODK. It's their Magic Foamer, Magic Velvet Foamers. What these are is essentially egg white replacements. Okay, equivalent of traditionally about 150 egg whites in there, and you literally only need, I will open it up and show you on the close-up, you literally only need about that much actually, about that much. Can you see that on the close-up there? That will literally replicate an egg white. I tend not to use egg whites in cocktails now, and purely because I deal with a lot of vegans and people that just don't want egg white in their cocktails. And egg whites, you kind of do get used a hell of a lot. They kind of add that froth, that consistency, that velvety, kind of luxurious taste to a cocktail, and these do replicate that. There's plenty of other brands out there, but this is the one that Drinkstuff sell, so I highly recommend getting yourself some foamers. Yes, and the face value, they do look quite expensive, but then when you break it down, it's way, way cheaper than an egg in a cocktail, and they're long life and shelf stable. Now, puree-wise, there is a whole different rabbit holes that you could go down here. I've brought in the 5 that I use the most and go through the most, and they'll probably be obvious to a lot of you, but again, again, this is very much down to your style of cocktails. There is no right or wrong here. I'm just showing you, as someone that does a lot of cocktails, what I personally use. So, not sure which order there. Let's just get them all out at the same time. Obviously, these are ODK because that's what I use on my channel at home. Let's go there, and then obviously that's one. Now, let's try and put these in nice colour order. There we go. Obviously, if you've watched any of my videos, you will know that I've got the whole range of ODK there. I also shout about funkin'. I've already done videos describing why I use ODK to funkin', so I'll put links to that above. But again, it's just essentially all to do with long life and shelf stable. But flavour wise, I think these are pretty much the standards. And as I say, these will keep long life as opposed to funk in there. They will keep long life in there. Obviously, the passion fruit is the big one that I go through tons of because of the porn star martini. Coconut, but again, because of all the rum drinks, you will notice that a lot of these are purely because of rum. Rum is probably the biggest spirit category for cocktails at the moment. Yes, there's a lot of gin out there, but people have gin cocktails, and gin cocktails don't really transcend too well into fruity kind of drinks. And vodka is making a big comeback now, but it's out and out rum. So you naturally look at all these flavours and think, yes, they do work with rum. But as I say, I will point out, whatever cocktails you want to make. Me personally, I would not say, right, get all 5 of those to start off with. I don't think you need them to start off with. Work up, get one, maybe start off with the passion fruit, and then find out 4 or 5 different cocktails you can make with passion fruit. And then once you've started getting used to using that, maybe then you could go into mango, or you could go into raspberry or something like that. But for me, as I say, syrups are a bit different. I would invest in 5, 6, 7 different syrups. So I've got them there. Purees, not so much. Purees, you can kind of do this similar sort of thing with liqueurs, flavoured liqueurs, Bols, Giffard, whatever your go-to brand is. Purees for me just give that vibrancy. So don't think you have to, but I would say that if you're going to start a home bar, I would say that these are the kind of the first 5, your go-tos. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you want me to do a follow-on and talking about booze and the ingredients there, I think you could go on to, then kind of do let me know in the comments. We can talk about it on this channel, but I kind of want to keep this channel about Drinkstuff and the products they sell. This is their channel. So Drinkstuff obviously don't sell booze or anything like that. So there you go. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. If anything I can't answer, we will get the team involved and on there. But I hope you enjoyed this series. And if there's anything I've not covered in this little 3-part mini-series, again, do let me know, because I will leave this open-ended and perhaps we can deep dive into even better cocktail shakers or other equipment or better glasses. We can do that for you. So again, let me know what you thought in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the very next video.